عجبت منك ومني يا منية المتمني عجبت منك ومني يا منية المتمني أدنيتني منك حتى ظننت أنك أني أدنيتني منك حتى ظننت أنك أني
We had already worked for 5 years together, but now she wanted to make a children's album. She said to me that my first album in Palestine was a children's album, and I'm famous for singing children's songs. She complained about the quality of those first albums, that the recordings were not so good, so she wanted to re-record all the songs on a new album. And then we made April Blossoms album, and her idea was to bring these songs out into the refugee camps in and around Palestine. And I got some support again from the Norwegian Church Aid to do so. And they made it possible for us to print a number of copies and to go together with him to refugee camps to give them for free to the families.
لما نكبر شوي ونصير نطلع السلم ونلقط زهور كتير من حقل تجارتنا غدير بطير وبلعب بالحقل بلاقي فراشي طاير بصير ألعب معاها وأرفرف حداها بصير
State propaganda, media censorship, and the rise of authoritarian rule.
You wake up one day, the system has been turned from an electoral democracy into a competitive authoritarian regime.
A look at the lust for power in Hungary and Myanmar through the experiences of those who live it every day.
There is a pressure on us, but we have to be very careful, of course, and we have to be brave enough to support that pressure.
How democracy dies. Democracy Maybe on Al Jazeera.
Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani International Anti-Corruption Excellence Award. Vote now for your hero.
Hello, I'm Mariam Namazi in London. A look at the main stories we're following now. And protesters remain camped inside Iraq's parliament after storming the building for a second time this week. Police fired tear gas at the crowds in the so-called green zone. More than 125 people have been injured. Supporters of Shia cleric Muqtada al-Sadr are protesting against the nomination of Mohammed al-Sudani as Prime Minister.
I call on all to remain calm, patient and rational, and not to be dragged into confrontation. I call on citizens not to clash with security forces and to respect the state institutions. We should all work together to stop those who are accelerating the strike. Everybody knows the fire of sedition would burn us all.
Ukraine's president has ordered the mandatory evacuation of the eastern city of Donetsk, and the wider Donbass region as fighting with Russian forces gets worse. Earlier, President Volodymyr Zelensky also called on the UN and the International Committee of the Red Cross to take action over an attack on a prison complex in Olenivka, in which dozens of Ukrainian prisoners of war were killed. The Red Cross says it's requested access to the prison to help evacuate survivors and help the wounded. Russian and Ukrainian forces have also accused each other of striking the prison. Al-Shabaab fighters have attacked a military base on the Somali-Ethiopia border. The armed group, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, says it's killed more than 100 Ethiopian troops. But the Ethiopian government is saying its soldiers killed more than 150 fighters who tried to infiltrate the base. Al-Shabaab controls large swathes of Somalia and has long sought to establish a base in Ethiopia. Over 400 migrants and refugees have disembarked from the NGO ship Sea-Watch in Taranto, Italy. The ship rescued the people from the Mediterranean last week in 4 separate operations, but it's been in search of a safe port for days now in temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius. And Spain has reported its second monkeypox-related death in the past 2 days. They are the first confirmed monkeypox deaths in the European Union. The global outbreak has now seen more than 21,000 cases in nearly 80 countries. This is in the last few months, since May. More on all those stories coming up in the News Hour. That's in 25 minutes' time. I'll see you then.
أمي كانت أكتر إشي عندها مهم إنها تخلي الجيل الجديد الشباب الصغار اللي في المستقبل أصلاً يضلهم دائماً متواصلين مع التراث الفلسطيني، يعني الموسيقى الأغاني الفلسطينية والأشعار الفلسطينية القديمة التراثية، حتى إنها كانت دائماً لما تطلع على المسرح دائماً كل أغنية في إلها قصتها وكل أغنية في شرح بتشرح ليش مثلاً بتشرح عن سارة عبد الحق الشهيدة، بتشرح عن فارس عودة، بتشرح عن محمد الدرة، بتشرح للأوروبيين وللعرب لكل محل. وحتى الأغاني التراثية يا طالعين كانت تشرح لهن إنه النساء الفلسطينيات كانوا عن طريق هاي الأغنية يتواصلوا مع أولادهن الفدائية إنه في خطر ومع الأسرة كمان. وهيك شغلات دائما كانت حتضلها تحاول توصل إنه هاي الأغنية في وراها قصة، في إلها معنى.
الوضع اللي بمرق فيه الشعب الفلسطيني ما زال بيزداد سوء يوم عن يوم، فرح أقدم أول أغنية كرمل الروح من كلمات الشاعر زهير صباغ، وبحب أقدم هاي الأغنية من هذا المكان مع أول نسمة ريح تحية تضامن مع كل الأسرى الفلسطينية والعرب في السجون الإسرائيلية. حرية إلهم.
أغنية كرمل الروح كتير أثرت فيي، إنه أمي بتكتب الكلمات وريم بتلحن وبتغني.
وأصرخ من قاع الروح يا كرمل الروح، وأصرخ من قاع الروح يا كرمل الروح، اجلب له هواء بحر حيفا، أحضر له نسيم بحر يافا.
أنا كرجل دين خادم للكنيسة كنت أنظر دائما إلى ريم أنها الصوت المنادي بالعدالة، المنادي بالحق والمدافع عن المظلومين.
انحياز ريم للكلمة الشعرية التي تعبر عن قضايا الإنسان الفلسطيني بسبب الاحتلال، إضافة إلى إيمانها بحرية شعبها وضرورة النضال من أجل الوصول إلى الحرية التي يتحرر بها شعبها.
أغنية كرمل الروح كتير أثرت فيي، إنه أمي بتكتب الكلمات وريم بتلحن وبتغني.